Howdy, folks. Welcome to another day in the Milky Way. Tonight we got a good one for you. We're going to be back into the book, Franz Bardon, and the key to the Kabbalah, the true Kabbalah. Tonight we're going to look at the law of analogy. And I got some good pictures for you. It's going to be kind of good. The law of analogy. And first we're going to look up some of this stuff. Well, of course, I've always got good things to present because we got to know what's going on here for sure. And this is all about Franz Bardon, his version of it. So we'll have to get to that too. Okay. Here we go. So I hope you're all doing good, but this is the law of analogy. Although this is a definite condition of the third dimension existence, no analogy is ever exact in detail, but only in certain broad, basic correspondence. There will be found unchangeable points of resemblance. But in using this analogy, viewing creation, no two details are exact. Using an analogy is trying to mentally explain the unexplainable. One attempts to convey understanding in a broad sense. Well, I thought that was kind of good. That helps us out. But we need to know about theories and laws. So what is the difference between a theory and a law? We're going to help you out there too. Let's see. Let's go to here. Theories and laws. The common person often doesn't understand the language used by scientists, and for that reason, they sometimes draw the wrong conclusions about what scientists say. Three such terms that are often used interchangeably are scientific law, hypothesis, and theory. In layman's terms, if something is said to be just a theory, it usually means that is a mere guess or unproved. It might even lack credibility, but in scientific terms, a theory implies that something has been proven and is generally accepted as being true. Well, that's the difference between a law and a theory. And tonight we're going to talk about the laws of analogy. So what is analogy? Well, that's a good question. And one we're going to try to figure out right now. So there you go. Let's listen to our little friend here. Let's see what he has to say. Socks is to feet as gloves is to hands. Analogy. Okay. So what does that tell us? Good versus evil. White versus black. And you're in the middle, boys and girls. You are in the middle. Okay, let's get on with this. The laws of analogy. The laws of analogy have great significance in all true religious systems, including the science of hermetics, and therefore play a most important role in the universe. Everything was created according to the strict lawfulness, and that is why one thing leads to another with astonishing perception, like the most precise clockwork. In hermetic science, the study of the practical application of this lawfulness is called Kabbalah. All hermetic systems and methods are religious philosophies and systems which do not take or only partly take the universal law into account, are one-sided and therefore imperfect. Religious systems that acknowledge only one aspect of the law and neglect all others, or even oppose them, can be of only limited duration. Though their downfall may not come until after hundreds or even thousands of years, only those religious systems which take into account absolute universal laws will exist permanently and remain for eternity. We got some hot chocolate tonight, boys and girls. It's good. All original divine ideas, absolute harmony, order, periodically are reflected in the absolute lawfulness of the universal laws. The attentive reader will not have failed to notice that in his first book, Initiation into Hermetics, he has illustrated a system for development of the body, soul, spirit, which is based on the universal laws and which represents the first initiation on the path to perfection. As one concludes from the absolute laws, true initiation is neither a privilege of sex nor dependent upon the religious ideology. No special mention needed. So remember this. The facts that man has exactly 10 fingers and 10 toes rather than 6 or 3 also represents an analogy, which I explain in detail later on. The same is true of all other analogies, which the reader may find in the Sefer. No practical analogy needed for the study of Kabbalah will be omitted here. In the practical part of this book, Franz Bardon shall also discuss thoroughly from the point of view of esoterics, the individual letters with regard to the mental, astral, and material worlds, which not only express sounds, but also numbers and ideas. The practitioner of Kabbalah will learn another method of mathematics and will be able to express ideas by way of numbers and vice versa. To convert numbers into ideas, furthermore, he will learn to transform letters into numbers and to clothe letters in numbers. In doing so, he will learn to know his own self, and thus also God. The Kabbalist will understand the perfection of laws. He will realize that good and evil, if understood literally, are merely religious expressions, while in reality both principles, positive and negative, that's this one, positive and negative, where am I here? And the letters, since it cannot exist, reality both principles, the positive and negative, are necessary since one cannot exist without the other. The Kabbalist will always endeavor towards the positive, but never hold the negative at disdain. Rather, he will learn to master it, for the Creator has created nothing which is useless. Well, there you go. What else we got here? Laws. Well, let's see what laws are. Statement. Wrong. Laws. A statement of fact meant to explain in concise terms an action or a set of actions generally accepted to be true and universal by all the scientific community. Can sometimes be expressed in terms of a single mathematical equation, like 2 + 2. They are accepted at face value based upon the fact that they've always been observed to be true. Examples: the law of gravity, Newton's laws of motion, the laws of thermodynamics. And there we go. You can look at this and see, you got the source, the problem, matching the target problem, source solution, adaptation, the target solution, unknown. This is what we're going to try to do in our head. Oops, that's from the day before. So, let's look at it like this. The esoteric letters, the mastery of the word, or to speak more intelligibly, the mystery of the knowledge and true use of the word can be attained only through the highest existing forms of initiation. At all times, he who has been called master of the word has been the highest initiate, the highest priest, the true representative of God. Every religious system, every initiation regards the knowledge of the word as highest knowledge. Even with Jesus, we find that his favorite disciple, John, was master of the word and thus of the Kabbalah, as is made clear in the Gospel, wherein you may quite literally read, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God." No other disciple of Christ was so profoundly initiated into the mystery of the Word as was John. As master of the Word, he was able to work the greatest miracles, and as the Bible itself tells us, he was the only one among the disciples who died a natural death. He was able to accomplish this because he was a Kabbalist, a master of the Word. All of the other disciples suffered a martyr's death. As history tells us, many other initiates had also been masters of the Word thousands of years before John. Every word consists of letters, and every letter expresses, from the esoteric point of view, the idea and thereby a power, attribute, etc., which, however, may be expressed not only by the letter alone, but also through the universal law of analogy, by numbers. Thus, lawfulness is made understandable by numbers, and ideas come to light by letters. The meaning of each letter are analogous to the three words shown to us. Since the Kabbalist is able to express the sense of an idea by means of letters, and since he is also aware of the relevant numbers which express the same idea, the letters have quite a different meaning for him, that they have an intellectual language. Thus, by universal law, a letter is Kabbalistically evaluated. This knowledge of the universal laws renders it possible for the Kabbalists to express several trains of thought by means of letters, and thus by numbers analogous to them. A word composed relative to the absolute laws and analogies of the corresponding letters and numbers is a Kabbalistic word in the universal or cosmic language. To be able to form a Kabbalistic word, one must have a precise and complex knowledge of the allegories of letters and numbers. In the practical part of this book, the Kabbalists will learn the exact and proper use of a word composed according to the universal laws and regarding to the mental and astral material worlds and the regard to the elements. He will learn to express words and subsequently sentences, not only intellectually, with his whole being. Only a word expressed in such a manner will have creative effects. The correct pronunciation of letters in one's spirit, in one's soul, and later in one's body, as well as in actual foundation of practical Kabbalistic mysticism. In order to become effectively creatively, the Kabbalist must learn to speak like a child that can only babble at first, and later learn to pronounce single letters and words. The letters have their analogous significance, which the Kabbalists must learn and master in his mental, astral, and material worlds, and likewise in the various planes of heretics. From this one can see the theorist who is only able to think intellectually and who comprehends letters, words, and sentences with his intellectual alone will never become a true Kabbalist. He will only be able to comprehend the Kabbalah from an intellectual and physiological point of view and in correspondence with his own state of maturity. The practicing Kabbalist, however, will be able to perceive and understand how to make practical use of the sense of every letter and its idea and lawfulness. And his spirit, his soul, and last but not least, his whole body. The study of the Kabbalah begins with the esoteric letters when creating ideas out of his own self and dividing and arranging them into universal laws. God formed letters and with the letters numbers, which have an exact and analogous connection to one another and which represent the whole universe from the highest to the lowest. The assertion of hermetics, Trismegistos, that which is above is like that which is below, and is sustained from the Kabbalistic point of view. The letters which God used to create from within himself the ideas that pleased him are clearly explained in the book of creation. At the moment of creation, 10 principal ideas came into being, above all things which in the Kabbalah are called the 10 Sihirphons. The number 10 is a reflection of the number 1, which in turn is a reflection of God in his highest form and lowest emanation. Based on a knowledge of the law of analogy, the Kabbalist will understand what he means when Franz points out that in relation to the 10 principal ideas, man has 10 fingers and 10 toes. At this point, the Kabbalist will surely have surmised a certain relationship or analogous connection between the divine principal ideas and the cipher Yerzia. I mispronounced that. Yetzer. Maybe that's it. Ziffer Yazer. If I say it really fast, I can do it. The fact that each mathematical number on Earth can be reduced to a figure of 1 to 9 by addition. The sum of the digits also has the Kabbalistically analogous coherence. In the Hebrew Kabbalah, the numerical combinations were a complete science, known as gematria. However, Franz Bardon shall mention only the most basic essentials necessary for the practical application of Kabbalistic mysticism, as well as for the use of the Kabbalistic word. Whoever is interested in this special numerical combinations regarding the verse lines in Hebrew literature may also, if he wishes so, resort to the relevant literature. We'll go figure. And then we go on to the cosmic language. I think we can make it through here before the end of the half hour or so. The cosmic language. How do we speak the cosmic language? Some writers may mention in the cosmic language, which they sometimes term the Ukraine language, it may well be that some letters of the cosmic language are known to and comprehended by them. But up to this day, nobody has written about it in detail. The hermeticists will know from what has already been said, that the term cosmic language signifies the language of God or the language of divine providence. By this, God is universal spirit. Hot chocolate on a cold day. How wonderful. Let's see. Universal spirit. He has created everything that exists in the universe, from the tiniest up to the greatest and highest, according to those unshakable. See, the laws. I'll read that again. The laws by which God expresses his own self. Therefore, we can only understand God by way of his lawfulness in the universe, and the clothed by the synthesis of his laws into words, and give expression to him at the highest original principles comprehensible to mankind. To understand the Kabbalah and use it practically means comprehending the cosmic language on the basis of universal lawfulness. Thus, the cosmic language is a language of the law, a language of might and power, and at the same time also language of dynamics, of condemnation and materialization and realization. See, they all come in threes. Seen from the Kabbalistic point of view, to speak the cosmic language is to form and create within the scope of the universal laws. Only the initiate who understands the masters of the universal laws and their absoluteness may avail himself of the cosmic language. When dealing with human beings and beings of other spheres, to speak the cosmic language, to be truly creative, to represent God as his true image, is something that is only possible for someone who is able to concentrate in tetrapolar fashion. Why tetrapolar? Maybe it's tetrapolar. Tetrapolar. I shall explain in detail in the next chapter. Consequently, the cosmic language is not the language by which the spiritual beings make themselves understood to one another. The communication between spiritual beings, regardless of hierarchy, happens intellectually, mentally, by means of the so-called metaphorical language. The thoughts are transferred by symbolic images. That's why when you see a spirit, you're talking in your head, not physically talking. The language of spiritual beings, being imperfect, is therefore only a partial aspect of the cosmic language. It is, magically speaking, not as effective as the true cosmic language, since spiritual beings do not make use of tetrapolarity when communicating. The cosmic language is the most perfect language that exists, for it is analogous to the laws. That is, it expresses the universal laws in their cause and effect. The cosmic language is therefore the great let it be. And there we go. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. The great laws, the laws of Kabbalah. Everything is about those laws, the laws of the universe, the law of one. And it all revolves around that. No matter what you think, gravity is always constant. It's always there. It's always the same, no matter how you look at it. So you got to think of all these other things. There's gravity, Newton's law of motion. Everything in motion stays in motion, unless stopped by an exterior force. The laws of thermodynamics. The laws. There's lots of laws out there. Laws and principles, I guess. But you figure them out. We'll go through them one of these days. But we'll have to look up Newton and see what he has to say on all this. But once you know those basic principles, everything else is built upon those. So with that, you can figure things out a lot easier. And once you can speak that language, you will know the language of the Kabbalist. And so that's what we're here doing. We're learning the laws. Now, did I know the laws? Did I know what all this was about? Nope. Actually, nope, and no. But I'm learning the same as you. So share my journey. Okay? Well, tonight we're going to sign off. But don't forget, 'tis the season. We're going to have a great show on Saturday with Ryan Serio. Don't forget to tune in on December 17th. That'll be a great show. Also, we are this Christmas season giving to Doug Stack. His information will be below in the description. Check that out. So his address is there. Go send him some money or help him out. He's a hardworking guy. He's working hard. He's got a business. If you can help him out, do so. If you can't, well, then don't worry about him. Send him a card anyway. Say, good job, man. We're trying real hard to help you. We're sending you good vibes. If nothing else, send some positive energy through the air. Just like that. If you don't want to help Doug, that's fine too. Help your neighbor. Help somebody in your family. Just because I said to help somebody doesn't mean you have to help them. But you can help whoever you want. If you have a little bit of time, maybe you want to consider donating it. If you have a little bit of something, maybe give it to somebody else. But if you can't, give them a wave, say something nice, give them a smile. Life is good. Let somebody know. Maybe it'll change their lives. That's all you can do. And if nothing else, give a phone call this season to a family or friend that you haven't talked to in a while. And see what they say. Hey, how you doing? I haven't talked to you in 3 years. What's up? It's all good. But maybe they would enjoy hearing from you. With that, remember, go out, everybody, and do the right things. Be a good person. Do the work. If you got any questions, don't be afraid to email. And we'll talk about them on the show. If you got a good story, share it. So with that, go out and be. Tis the season. 'Tis the season to be the frequency you want to receive, because that's what we're all about, people. Being the frequency you want to receive. Okay, with that, everybody, peace. Have a good one. Love y'all.